Hi, folks. This is Ben here with New London Farm, and with me today is Steve Dalton, owner of Dalton's Apiaries, and he is the gentleman in which we get our honey from. He's a local honey producer, and excited to have him on with us, and so excited to hear more about how he raises his bees, takes care of his bees, and does his beekeeping along with producing the excellent honey that he does. So, Steve, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We greatly appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. So as we get started here, just kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself, maybe a little bit about your family, your background, what you did for a living prior to doing beekeeping.
Okay. I'm 62 years old.
Okay.
And I worked at Abbott Laboratories for 35 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Abbott Laboratories makes adult nutritional and infant formula.
Okay.
So
yep.
Ensure, Similac, stuff like that.
Yep.
Anyway,
yep.
I held several different positions, but the last position that I retired in was electrician.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Enjoyed my work. I've been married to the same woman for 37 years, so she must be a pretty good woman to put up with.
That's right. That's exactly right.
We have 4 kids.
Okay.
One passed away. We lost a daughter to Ewing sarcoma cancer when she was 24 years old. So
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, cancer doesn't discriminate.
Sure.
And, most every family has been touched by it in some way.
Yeah. No, I'm so sorry to hear that. I didn't know that. How old are your other 3 children, or rough ages?
Okay, we got twins that are 27.
Okay.
And I've got a son that's 35.
Okay. Well, good deal. That's good. And how did you get into beekeeping?
Well, I don't share this story unless somebody asks.
Okay.
But I had terrible problems with allergies.
Okay.
And I was buying honey from this old guy, and he asked me one day, he said, "Boy, are you back down here for some more honey?" I said, "Yes, sir. I eat a spoonful every day."
Okay.
I said, it helps me with my allergies. He said, "You need to get you some bees." I said, "Man, I don't know nothing about no bees. The only experience bees has been them things that's been stinging me, but it wasn't honeybees. It was yellow jackets, wasps, and hornets and stuff like that you get into as a kid."
Right.
So anyway, his comment was one of them comments that just kept running around in my head.
Okay.
You're not going to learn younger. So I just kept thinking about that. I'm not going to learn any younger. So I got me a hive.
Okay.
And anyway, it worked out pretty good. I didn't get stung a lot.
Okay.
You're going to get stung, but
right.
anyhow, I took a class Dr. Richard Felt at Virginia Tech taught on raising honey queens. So I started playing with raising queens, and I'm kind of like Dale Earnhardt. I'd rather be lucky than good. So I got queens, and one hive turned into, well, I had as many as 130 mid-summer.
Wow. So how long have you been, since that time, your first hive, how long have you been doing beekeeping?
About 20 years.
Okay. Wow. That's a long time. And how many hives do you have currently?
Currently, I got somewhere between 100 and 110.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot to keep up with.
You lose some. You always lose some during the winter time.
Right.
And it's hard. I can't. I used to get aggravated with people when I asked them, "How many bees you got?" And they'd say, "Well, I got about," and I'm like, "How can you not know how many bees you got?" Well, if you get 2 or 3 hives sitting out here in the backyard, where you look at it today, then you can know how many you got. But once you get up to a certain number, you might lose one over here and one over there, and
sure. Now that's neat. That's fantastic. Now, how many? I think I saw not too long ago, but you've won some awards as far as honey and things like that. Is that correct?
Well, we got lucky again. We went to. I'm a member of the Virginia State Beekeepers, along with 2 other, the Halifax County Club and the Pennsylvania County Club.
Okay.
I can learn from everybody. No
Yep.
matter if it's somebody that's just got one hive of bees, I think they got something other that I can learn.
Sure.
So anyhow, we went to the Virginia State Beekeepers Association meeting. It
Mm-hmm.
was in Williamsburg at the Williamsburg Lodge,
Yep.
and they had several speakers, some from California, some from Texas, and a guy from Georgia, plus a lot of others. But they were the big speakers. So I went to learn, but they
Okay.
had a black bag honey contest where
Okay.
you take one jar of honey with no label, and if you put it in a black bag, and then they have a panel of judges that come around and taste it.
Okay.
And we won second place in the state as far
Oh,
as taste honey.
that's fantastic. Well, congratulations. And that's for the whole state of Virginia. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Wow.
So
Impressive. Well,
I tell
congratulations.
everybody, I tell everybody you ain't eating the best, but you're eating the second best. But I had several people tell me, "Nah, I think some of them judges messed up."
Well, I know that we've thoroughly enjoyed your honey as a family. I mean, we use it all the time. It's fantastic. Never had any issues or anything like that with it. Always tastes great, and obviously honey's very versatile, so you can use it in a lot of different ways and a lot of different recipes. So, well, congratulations to you. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, man, we were tickled. It was kind of funny. I left the room.
Okay.
The secretary for the state came by me, and I needed a receipt for something that was going on there. And I told him, I said, "Look, I didn't get a receipt." He said, "Come on with me." But when I come back in the room, there's a couple hundred people in the room. When I
Yeah.
come back in the room, my wife was coming out from up at the front on the stage, and I'm like, "What in the world is she doing?" I didn't even know what was going on. But here she come back with a red ribbon and man, I won a nice smoker.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, one of the big smokers, and so yeah, it was quite a surprise.
Yeah,
we
no.
were honored by it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. That's fantastic. Um, I'm gonna hit you up with some more questions if you don't mind. Um, how much approximately? Obviously, you've done it and I'm sure it fluctuates, but just as a average, how much can one hive produce in honey?
Well, to answer your question first, before I get off on a tangent here,
Okay.
the average for the state of Virginia
Mm-hmm.
is 30 to 40 pounds
Okay.
per hive.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of factors in that.
Yep.
If you get a late frost in the spring,
Mm-hmm.
last year we were so dry, I
Yep.
made a third of the honey that I normally make.
Right.
So the weather depends a lot on it.
Yep.
Of course, different things like bears. If you get hit by a bear, he can wipe out a lot
Right.
pretty quick. But to answer your question, one hive will produce, according to the state statistics, 35 to 40 pounds.
Wow. Wow. And when do you typically harvest the honey from a hive? Is there a
I
certain
harvest
time of the
2
year?
times.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I harvest 2 times. Most people only harvest 1 time.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of cleanup,
Mm.
and most people want to do it 1 time and clean up and be done.
Yep. Yep.
I harvest in June, and then I harvest again in August.
Okay.
The first major bloom that we have, the big contributor, is tulip poplar.
Okay.
That honey is normally a little bit dark,
Okay.
but I have people that want dark honey.
Yep.
I have people that don't want anything but light honey.
Yep.
Honey is judged by color,
Yeah.
and there's a color standard. And the lighter the color, the more expensive the honey.
Okay.
I
didn't know
don't
that.
do that. I just price honey as cheap as I can price it
Right.
because I want everybody eating honey.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And so obviously time of year does impact the color of the honey. Is that correct? Did I hear you correctly?
That's correct. The second flow honey is generally a little bit lighter.
Okay. Okay. And then what about taste of the honey? Does time of year impact its taste or its flavor at all?
Well, I don't like to disagree with any of my customers.
Right.
And some of them just want first flow honey.
Okay.
Some of them just want the second flow honey.
Right. Right.
I have made a comment that I bet if I blindfolded them, that they couldn't tell the difference in the taste.
Right.
Because I eat a lot of honey.
Right.
I mean, a lot.
Right.
I can more difference in the consistency of the honey.
Yep.
The first honey is a little thicker.
Okay.
Now, I don't know why that is.
Yep.
But it got something to do with the nectar.
Okay.
So the first flow's thicker.
Mm-hmm.
Flows a little bit thinner.
Okay. What about taste may not have much of an impact based upon the time or the color. I'm sorry, I got confused there. Taste may not have that much of an impact on time of year. What about like where the bees have sourced their nectar from, like different types of plants? Does that factor in or play into the flavor or the taste of the honey?
I think it does.
Okay.
I like to keep bees where there's nobody doing anything.
Okay.
Stuff grown up.
Yep.
And it's just wild stuff that's nature.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those places. You
Mm-hmm.
can get close to those places. You can get close to a farm that nobody's tending anything to. And it's just kind of growing up.
Yep.
But there's not a lot of those places.
Mm.
But yeah, I think the source has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And we don't. I mean, I see a lot of honey that people has got labeled pure whatever.
Yeah.
Pure sourwood, pure whatever.
Right.
These a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't label anything like that. I have
Right.
people that want sourwood honey. And they'll ask me, is this sourwood honey? I said, look, this is the honey that I took off when the sourwoods were blooming.
Right. Right.
But bees visit a lot of stuff. So
right, and it's hard to pin down and say, hey, that the bees only this only came from clover, right, or this only came from sourwood. It's the same thing with cattle, right? It would be the same thing of saying that
right.
Cattle were only fed this type of grass. It's just not realistic. It's probably not likely. So no, that's good. That's good. As far as how long does it take you, like you go out to harvest harvest honey from a hive, how long does it take you to get the honey out of that hive? From when you start, you kind of get all your gear on and things like that to when you finish getting it out.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that.
Okay.
I thought about that question a little bit, and I said, if you just put a time down, because most of this stuff I got travel time.
Right. Right.
All of my bees are here within 50 miles of where I'm at.
Right.
But if you take a travel time out,
mm-hmm.
and you just time out that you're on the hive working to get it off,
yep.
to get it off the truck and in the house, I'm guessing somewhere 30 to 40 minutes or so.
Okay.
I can harvest.
Okay. And how much are you gonna what percentage of the hive are you gonna harvest? Like how much are you gonna take out of the hive compared to how much do you leave with the hive? Because I'm assuming you don't empty the hive out of honey. Is that correct?
No, that's correct. The two, I always have two boxes.
Okay.
One is a deep box and one is a medium box, and
okay.
all that is just the size of the boxes. Those two I never fool with as far as harvesting honey.
Okay.
Everything above that is what I harvest.
Okay.
So these will fill their boxes up first,
mm-hmm.
and then start putting the excess into the boxes that I will harvest from. But I never go down. I always try to leave them anywhere from 60 to 70 pounds. Normally takes us through the winter okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't like to rob them down, because if I rob them down, you could do that and possibly get by with it.
Yep.
But then you got to feed.
Mm. Okay.
I fed this year some, because I always like to make sure that they've got enough to make it through the winter.
Right. Yeah, that's neat. So really, what what people are getting from honey from your hives is just the excess of what the bees produce, because a good portion of it's going to be there just to sustain the bees themselves.
That's correct.
Is that right? Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. How long can a hive go? Like, what's the lifespan of one hive? So if you have a hive that's started to, you're going to know better than I don't know the terminology, but like, how many years can a hive last?
Okay, that's another one of them questions where you ask 10 beekeepers, you get 11 answers.
Okay.
A queen will last from 1 to 3 years.
Okay.
A queen leaves the hive one time normally, and she eats with 15 or 20 different drones, which are the male bees.
Yep.
And comes back to the hive, and that's where she stays.
Okay.
If she lays an egg and she fertilizes the egg, then it becomes a female bee. If she lays an egg and does not fertilize it, then it's a male.
Okay.
She knows what size cells that she's laying in. So the worker bees or the female bees are laid in a little smaller cell. The male bees are in a bigger cell.
Okay.
So she knows not to fertilize or not fertilize. So, and they say that the people that really know say the queen uses up her stored sperm within 1 to 3 years. A lot of people will requeen every year.
Okay.
Just to it cuts down on some of your swarming if you got a young.
Okay. Now, do you requeen your hives each year, or do you allow the process to go a little bit longer than that?
I usually go a little bit longer than that, and I probably get in trouble on some of that. I think that's the reason why I lost a couple of hives this time, was maybe I should have requeened them.
Okay.
But I normally make splits.
Okay.
I will make the bees think that they have swarmed.
Okay.
And you can if you set them up the right way, and you give them the right eggs, or what the bees are looking for is a 3-day-old egg to make a queen. That's the ideal egg to be a queen.
Interesting.
I pull out some bees, pull out eggs, put them in a box, and take them somewhere else, and they realize that, hey, we don't have a queen, but we got to make a queen. So if I have set them up in the right way, then they'll make a queen and they'll start a new hive.
That's absolutely amazing. That's so cool. I didn't know that. That is really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I do about 40, at least 40 of those every year.
Okay.
And then use some of them for my replacements for the bees that I've lost.
Yep.
And then I sell some too.
Okay. Yeah, that's neat. That's really neat. What kind of things will destroy a hive? Obviously, you mentioned bears.
Bear.
Anything else? Anything else? I mean, you can go on about bears, what bears will do to a hive, but what type of things will cause your hives to, cause you to lose hives, I should say.
Yeah, probably the number one thing is mites. Bee is about like a tick to a human.
Gotcha.
And you have to. Well, several things you can do for mites, but mites are probably the number one thing.
Yep.
Other predators other than bears, skunks. Skunk breathe right in the front of the hive, and the bees come out, especially when it's cool like it is now.
Yeah.
The bees come out to check on what's going on, and the skunk will eat them.
Really?
Turkeys will eat bees.
Okay, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Wow.
And if a hive gets weak,
yep,
wax moths will take over.
Okay.
Wax moths, the stuff you see flying around the lights at night.
Yeah.
And they'll get in there, and man, they just ruin. They get into woodwork, and
Oh,
they'll mess. Yeah, they just make a terrible mess.
I didn't know that either. Man, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a whole lot right now.
Yeah, and
Um,
there's a beetle, a hive beetle.
okay,
If your colony gets weak, then they will get in there and they just take over, and it'll
okay,
slime everything. It just makes slime. That's what it turns everything into, slime.
interesting. That's now. Do you have to move your hives to different places periodically to keep them away from either some of the predators or some of the things that will attack them, or as long as the hive is healthy and strong, it can kind of maintain where it's at in that same location, indefinitely.
Yeah, as long as it's yeah. But if the hive is healthy
Uh huh.
and, and your queen is good,
Yep.
then they will continue to go where they are. And I'm doing something a little bit different this year. I've not made up my mind totally if I'm going to pollinate. I usually pollinate apples in the
Okay.
spring.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't make honey off of that, because if you set up to pollinate, then you're moving stuff around. You can't
Mm.
set up to collect honey. Bees make a lot of honey off of apple
Right.
apple blooms, but I'm not set up to collect it. That's just what they'll fill their stuff up off of the apple.
I
But
gotcha.
anyway, I haven't decided if I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little older. It gets a little harder to find help. I
Sure.
don't, not commercial type. I don't have a forklift. Everything's done by hand.
Right.
So I'm not sure. So I left. I normally bring all of my hives back to 3 locations for the
Okay.
winter time. But
Okay.
this year I didn't do that. I
Okay.
left them spread out this year so that if I elect not to pollinate, then they'll already be in place.
Gotcha. Okay. As far as you'd mentioned, one of the things was um, health benefits of honey, and you had mentioned allergies. Um, can you expand upon that? What some of the health benefits that are out there for purchasing a local honey as opposed to just going to a grocery store, or just buying some random honey off the shelf. What are some of the health benefits to getting a local honey?
Well, like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I don't
Right.
promote it.
Right.
Somebody asks me, I tell them, and I've got customers that buy honey by the case.
Right.
One lady was buying all of the medicine that she could buy, and some of the allergy stuff. You have to show your ID in
Right.
order to get it.
Right.
What's in it? She was buying all she could buy. Her husband was buying all he could buy, and they had somebody else buying it for them too. And she started eating honey, and she's not taking anything
Wow.
but,
And
but honey.
that's seasonal allergies, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I went to a Christmas bazaar and sold honey at a Christmas bazaar, and there were a lot of people. This was over it was in Chatham,
Okay. Yeah.
Old Virginia, Old Dominion, and there was a lady there, and she had a daughter that had been coughing, and she said, "Well, that help cough?" I said, "Ma'am, I'm not a doctor, but I said it has helped coughs before."
Right.
She bought a little small jar. She called me. It's been about 2 weeks ago. She called me. She said, "Do you have any more of that honey?" I said, "No." She said, "Let me tell you something." She said, "I got my daughter to take a spoonful of that honey." She said, "After 2 days, she quit coughing, and she ain't coughed since."
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and if you're allergic to pinto beans and you eat honey, it's probably not going to do you any good.
Right. Right.
If you're allergic to the pollen and stuff in the air, then it's a possibility that it could help you out.
Yeah, they could be beneficial. Yeah, that's neat. That's really neat.
Well,
And
and honey is also on the anti-inflammatory list
Yep.
of foods.
and
Like I said, it helps with a cough. No, I had a veterinarian
yep.
that took some honey. There was a dog that got caught in a steel trap,
Okay.
and she took that honey and put it on some gauze and wrapped that dog's leg up. And the
Really?
dog it healed up fine. She said, and quick.
Really?
So the
Interesting.
moisture content will not allow bacteria to grow. That's why honey will last so long.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
and the bacteria can't grow. So she put it on the dog, and she got him healed up.
Interesting. Now, how long can honey stay out on a countertop on a shelf? Is there really any expiration date, or will it just last indefinitely for years?
They say it'll last indefinitely for years.
Okay.
Now, honey with sugar, that's what honey does.
Right.
And all you have to do is warm it up.
Okay.
How do you?
If it crystallizes, is that what you mean? If it crystallizes and turns to like sugar grains, right. Okay. Go ahead. All you have to do is warm it up. Go ahead.
Just warm it up, and I get a lot of questions. What's the best way to warm it? Well, a lot of labels tell you to put it in a pan of warm water.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a guy in Pennsylvania that buys honey from me, and they have a lot cooler winters and stuff up there. And I'm not sure where. I just tell everybody to store honey where it'll stay as warm as possible,
okay.
and it will last longer without sugar. But he takes his honey and puts it in a crock pot.
Okay.
And puts it on low, puts a little water in there. And he said, all I got to do is do that. He said, when I come home work, he said, man, it's all right. It's all good.
Interesting.
I've had to put it in a vehicle out in the sun.
Yep.
People put it in a microwave, but the experts say you need to be careful doing that because it will kill some of the enzymes that's in the honey.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's really good information. Thank you for sharing that. What can folks do to promote healthy beehives? Obviously, there's some detrimental things that have happened, but what can people do in the local area to promote healthy beehives?
If everybody would like a yard full of dandelions, that would help everything in the springtime. Dandelion pollen has got a real high protein content.
Okay.
But no dandelions, everybody's spraying, and I get it. I know. Everybody, a yard full of dandelions, that is not really pretty.
Right.
But farming has changed so much, and everybody's doing it. Everybody's spraying chemicals. Bees visit those flowers and then go back to the hive, and then you wind up with a pesticide kill. I mean, it'll be just thousands of bees laying on the ground in front of the hive.
Right, because they're bringing the pesticides back to the hive, right? Which is basically just poisoning the bees.
Yep, that's right. If we stop spraying so much, and I know the big farmers, that they got to do what they got to do because they got to make a living too, but the homeowners contribute a lot to it also.
Yeah.
Everybody at the golf course look on the yard.
Yeah. Interesting. That's helpful. That's helpful, right? It's also probably helpful, right, to just if you've got clover in your yard, right, don't pull it up, just let it go, because that's going to be a source of nectar for the bees. And obviously clover is abundant in certain areas, and it's one of those things that would probably help the bees by not just let the clover grow a little bit, let it bloom a little bit, so that bees can get it for nectar. Would that be a fair statement?
Oh man, yes sir.
Okay.
I got a good stand of clover. I also got a good stand of dandelion.
That's great. We got a few more minutes left, so we'll wrap up. But what's your favorite part about beekeeping? You've done it for 20 years. What's your favorite part about it? Obviously, you're enthusiastic about it. What is it that?
I like starting the new hives. I like doing the split. I like manipulating the hive and knowing that I can make them think that they have swarmed and they know they don't have a queen, and we get a queen and we get a queen back. I think you get a better quality of queens by raising your own queens. Matter of fact, I've got other beekeepers. I had one guy the other day. He said he wants 50 nukes. He said, you got a good race of bees, and he said, I want some of them. Okay. This guy's already got a pile of bees, but so that's my favorite part.
Okay.
Is just raising raising bees, raising queens, and getting new hives started.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Anything else that you'd like to add for the good of the cause, or for folks to know?
Well, the biggest thing that I don't try to encourage people to buy honey from me,
Yeah.
but encourage people to buy honey from somebody that you can trust.
Yep.
Now, who sees this thing don't know that they can trust me or not, but I can assure everybody that I fix every jar of honey just like I'm going to eat it,
Yep.
because I eat a lot of it.
Right.
But honey is so easy to adulterate, and there is a lot of stuff going on with honey. There's other beekeepers close by me that is buying honey from out of state, from everywhere. You know, and I get it a lot of times. People come and ask me, why does so and so honey taste so different from yours? I'm like, I don't know. I said, all I can tell you is what you're getting from me is what come out the hive.
Right.
So,
But when you add, yeah.
To buy honey from somebody that they can trust.
Yep. That's good. That's really good. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if people are adding things into the honey, it's not going to taste the same. It's going to change the taste of it. It's going to change the quality of it, right? Probably change the health benefits of it. So that's fantastic.
Well, you go online and buy. You can buy anything online now.
Right.
And you buy some cheap honey from out west somewhere or another, and it's just different stuff. It's a different bloom than what we have around here.
Right. That makes sense. Steve, we're just about out of time, so thank you so much for your time, and thank you for talking with us. Greatly appreciate it. It's very much appreciated on my end, and I know our folks will enjoy everything that you've shared today. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.